Welcome to the next episode of the RealLeader series for the Canadian real estate industry. I'm your host, Ryan Ram from Matrix360, and we are excited to collaborate with Informa Canada to deliver a platform for leaders to share their experiences. The intent of this series is to engage with business leaders as they share their insights and wisdom. Before we commence, a bit about Matrix360. We are a talent management and workplace advisory platform. It is with great privilege and responsibility that we partner with real estate firms to advocate for people in our industry. Today we are here at the RealREIT conference in Toronto, Canada, and we are honored to be joined by Lisa Russell, Senior Vice President of Corporate Development for Boardwalk REIT. Welcome, Lisa. Thank you. Thanks for being here. And so to jump into our conversation, what was your vision for your career when you first started out?
When I first started out, I finished university and I was working with an appraising company through my third and fourth year, part-time, and I actually fell into this job. I didn't have a vision of moving into the real estate company, and hence today actually is my 24th year anniversary work year at Boardwalk.
Wow.
And 24 years ago, I didn't know that I would be actually stepping in and managing development and acquisitions and sales and overall corporate strategy.
But clearly you love it.
I love it. I absolutely love it. I couldn't think of doing anything different, and it is challenging, and there's different paths that I could have chosen along the way, but in hindsight, I wouldn't have changed anything.
That's awesome. And when was the first time in your life when you realized that you had the power to create change or to do something meaningful?
There's probably many different paths that, again, you're faced with adversity and challenge along the way, all the way through life. And I think the best thing that the most important thing is to work hard every day. Do not give up. If you are committed, you will succeed in the end. I have no doubt about it. And you surround yourself with amazing people. It's your team, it's your culture, it's your people that make the difference in your life.
Yeah. Was there a specific time or moment in your career, maybe getting a promotion or being approached for a new project, where you really realized, like, I can do something big here?
Okay, so funny, I'm going to go back to, and it gets a little bit more personal because it was after a birth of my child. I was asked to come back in a VP role. And it was at a point in my career that I had to make a decision if I was going to stay home or if I could go back into the workforce and balance a career. And I have a huge family support, so that's key. Mm-hmm. So because we all decided together as a family I could do this, we manage.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
I think it's important to share some of those stories because not a lot of people talk openly about those challenges of balancing, home life and work life.
Yeah.
So I think it would be great for us as an industry to, make that transition easier, and clearly you were able to do that.
Yes.
Great. Yes. What drives you to get out of bed in the morning?
What drives me? So family is key. It's my number one, always. It is my number one focus in life. And family fits into Boardwalk, and Boardwalk just happens to be a super family-based culture itself, and it is one big family itself. So it's a blurred line between my work and my personal family, and both allow, and I think it strengthens all relationships. I think it makes everybody better and stronger.
Yeah, I mean, especially working for a company that supports you as an individual, and
they're very supportive
your lifestyle.
Lifestyle and family.
That's awesome. Do you feel like that's a Calgary thing in general, that it's different?
I don't know.
No,
I'm born and raised in Calgary, so that's what I do know. And I've just been fortunate to work for such a culture.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know life in Calgary is a little bit different than we have it here in Toronto. So in terms of leadership in general, leadership styles today are under a microscope, whether they're in public or private realms. From your perspective, what is the greatest challenge facing leaders today?
I think there's multiple challenges that do face leaders. I think a big part of the leadership is actually being a good listener, and I do think that that forms a base of communication. So, communication and listening and hearing and keeping an open door policy, I think, is big. People as leaders have to embrace technology. So there's foreign things that come into the marketplace that we're not ready for, but you have to be open and accept any changes coming. So I think it's open, it's evolving, it's all about change. I think the only thing that's constant in life is change, and I think as again you can be a strong supporter all the way through, but you need to listen to people.
So really navigating kind of those more the people side of the business, and understanding what your team wants and needs. And I guess over time, you've also seen changes internally in the types of people that you're working with.
Yes,
Yeah.
I think there's always hurdles. Every day you face hurdles. It's just a matter of how you approach them and how you, on a go forward basis, how you work together to overcome them. And there's an answer for everything, and you can't believe that there isn't, or else you've kind of lost right there.
So I want to kind of go off of that point, talking about the kind of internal people management side. I have a few facts here I'd like to share with you. They're about Canada as well as Ontario specific for a little bit, but we can kind of go with that. So Canada has the highest population growth among G7 countries, with right now we're over 32 million people. 82% of the Canadian population live in large and medium-sized cities, which is one of the highest concentrations among G7 countries. And in Ontario, we have about 38% of the provinces, of the country's population living in our province. We've also done a Matrix Canadian Real Estate and Diversity Workplace Survey, where we surveyed mostly companies who operate nationally, but mostly people who are placed in Ontario. And we found that over 52% of the population in urban centers in Ontario were women, but less than 34% of women were in leadership roles. Also, between 35 and 54% of working population in urban centers were people of color, but less than 25% of people of color were in leadership roles. So with those statistics, as well as what you were talking about in terms of, different generations, right now we have 5 different generations in the workforce, changing Canadian demographics. How, as a leader, how have you and or your business or your company catered to the changing communities, changing faces of our country to foster inclusive workplaces in the real estate community?
Okay, that's a big question. So, like, I fundamentally believe in diversity, but I also believe in the best person for the job, period. So, I think it's really important as a leader to work with and mentor all people, all races, all gender, period. If the best person will rise to the top always, you will see the shining star always. They're really easy to spot. So again, I feel like I wouldn't hire somebody because of gender or their ethnic background, but working with the people, you can pull out so much information and value from pretty much anybody. So if you keep on pulling and teaching, you get a superstar. You actually do. You can build them, and so they have to have their own drive, and then you have to be able to work with them. And I think it's for me, it's the best person for the job.
Sure. And you mentioned that mentorship piece. Is that something that you've kind of taken upon yourself to make sure that you're providing guidance and mentorship to the people you're working with?
Yeah, definitely. And in looking back on my career, I've been fortunate to have amazing mentors in my history. I've had years and years of, call it, key real estate individuals that have actually worked with me side by side, and it was never a question of gender, or it just really wasn't. It was just working hard and making sure. So I continue to share that with the teams and grow grow individuals.
And give that back.
Give
That's
it back.
great.
Yeah.
So a couple more questions. What have been some of your personal struggles or conflicts or frustrations that you've encountered in your journey?
I don't know if I could actually even name a struggle, to be honest. And again, I think it's just perseverance. I think there's struggles every day, but it depends how you approach anything, and it could come down to struggles within family or business or career or friendships. I think you just find a way to make it work, and you have to go in with that attitude in life.
Yeah.
Always. It's you can make life complicated or you can make it easy. I choose the easy.
That's fair. That's great. Easy is easier.
It's easier.
It's easier.
Yeah.
And so, last question. Thinking more critically is so important in the time we live in about our past and our learning and growth. If you could time travel back to talk to your younger self, what piece of leadership advice that you know now would you give to you years ago?
What I have learned, and it's come over time and with experience, is just to believe in yourself. I think be strong and believe in yourself. If I had even the half of my ability now that I did 20 years ago, I think your whole career would be different. But it takes time to build that, and the stronger you feel you are in an industry of any type, the more confident you are, and it comes out. So I think it's learning, and if you can take it in and believe in yourself, it's key to success.
Awesome. Well, the Real Stories Leadership Series, as I mentioned, was established to showcase the insights and wisdom of real estate leaders. Thank you, Lisa, for being one of such leaders and joining us on this conversation today. On behalf of the Matrix360 and Informa Canada team, we appreciate you taking time to share your perspectives and experiences with us. If you would like to learn more about Matrix360 or Informa Canada, please check us out on our websites. Thank you very much.
Thank you.